What's up, everybody? Phil James. Right now, it is September 10th, and it is 12:30 a.m. Alright, so I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible. I want to make a few very valid points. One, there is quite the phenomenons going on down here around Cuba and around a place called Long Island. I've been watching a few videos in the past few hours, and there's a guy, his channel is called Mr. MBB333, I do believe. He's been covering Irma and these hurricanes very well. Apparently he used to live in a coastal region, so he's very familiar with hurricanes. So if you want to know more about hurricanes and what they do and whatnot, check his channel out. He seems to be very intelligent on the matter. I personally have never ever been through a hurricane. Okay, sorry, I just had a little freak out. The moon is totally not where it was just a minute ago at all. Something's going on here. Tell you what, I just saw the moon really far down on the horizon, and it was on the southwest. The moon was very, very low. There was no way it was the sun. But now suddenly, the moon is very high in the northeast, which is strange because the video I took this morning, we saw where the moon was. Alright, so anyways, let me focus on one topic here at a time without freaking out. Alright, so the phenomenon happening down there around Long Island, apparently there's big losses of water happening all over the place. So around Long Island, it's very shallow ocean water, but it was so shallow due to Irma pulling so much water away that people were walking in the sand on the seafloor. Okay, it's already shallow ocean there, but it's still the ocean, so it's still relatively, I'm guessing anywhere from around 6 feet plus. But people were just walking out there in really, really shallow, probably foot and a half deep water, because Irma has pulled so much water away from the island. Now, this has also happened in Brazil at least twice in the past month. Very strange things happening. Okay, so another thing, never in my life, I mentioned this in a previous video, never in my life have I ever heard the term stalled out used for a hurricane. For instance, Harvey's just going to kind of stall out over the greater Houston area. Never have I heard that in my entire life. Never. Okay, I asked my grandfather. He is 71 years old. He has never heard it either. Okay, so that's very strange to me. The only time I've ever heard the term stalled out used is when you're driving a vehicle and you stop it because you stalled it. So, very weird. But now, we had Harvey enter single digits and literally stop over Houston and then kind of move back out to the ocean, get some more strength, and then move back over Houston and continue the onslaught of rain. Now, we look at Irma. Irma was moving, around 20 miles per hour from Cuba. But of course, as we know, it's in that 86 degree water, give or take a few degrees. So it's very warm water, and very warm water is what powers natural occurring hurricanes. Yes, I said natural occurring hurricanes. So these hurricanes that we're having right now are clearly powered by something far greater than just water temperature. So here's the strange thing, though. It goes from it's 20 mile per hour moving speed, and it drops down just now, in the past few hours, to 6-7 miles per hour. So this is 2 hurricanes in a row that are supposed to be catastrophic in size, rain, and wind. that have dropped from their double-digit speeds to single-digit speeds. Like, single digits. And that's how slow it's moving across its track. Single digits. Never in my life have I witnessed anything quite like this. And it's very ironic that it drops to these single-digit speeds. Irma, right here, right prior to the Keys and Florida, because now it's got more time to slowly move over that very warm water and strengthen as much as it possibly can before crushing into the Florida coastline, which should be any minute, really. And I'm referring to the eye, like entering and, the whole top part of the storm. So, where do we go from here? What do we think? What do we say? Well, Friday, we had 3 hurricanes spinning at the same time, and if you had seen aerial views, it looks like 3 massive 6s from a very high altitude. And we all know how the powers that should not be, we all know how they like to do things. It's all about sigils and petty magic and symbols. So that would be very symbolic for them. And it just seems like, yeah, that's exactly what that was. Some people might think that's so far-fetched, but it's not in all reality, because if you look at all the weather facilities we have that are bridged and, chained up and linked together, they're very capable of doing numerous things with our weather. Plus, they spray geoengineering, chemtrails, stratospheric aerosol injections all day, every day, all over the country, and the world for that matter. So they are very capable of doing what they want with our weather whenever they want to do it. Alright, so on to the next. While looking at Irma right now, I'm looking at it, I'm sitting here like, man, it's moving 7 miles per hour, going right up to Florida right now. So for any of you that do stumble across this and you're in Florida, we're praying for you. And, we have our fingers crossed. If you are one of my subscribers and you are down there and you want to send footage or you want to keep me up to date on what is going on with FEMA and any other Red Cross organizations that happen to be down there, just seeming like they are just wrecking shit, send me an email. I will have it in the description. Also, so I've been running models here. This website. I've run this in advanced, and what I've seen is very disturbing. Now look at the size of Irma, okay? Everybody see Irma? It's a massive storm, very well known that this is like the biggest storm ever. Crushing all Atlantic hurricane records with winds and just sheer size. Now check this out. Look at Jose. This is Monday the 18th. These models tend to get very inaccurate sometimes once you go over 5 days. But regardless, it does not matter because there's still some variable that is causing this storm to get this size. Now, look at where Jose's at. A lot of us truth seekers out here in this community, in this truth circle community, or whatever you want to call it, predicted that Irma would smash into New York on 9/11. Well, I think too many people started to catch on to that idea and start talking about it, and they changed the path of Irma. Yes, I do personally believe they can very easily change paths, and I'll show you why in a second. But I think too many people were talking about it, and it was being predicted by too many people, so they decided, never mind, let's just slam Disney World Orlando studio area instead on 9/11, because as you know, that is tomorrow. In 24 hours, let me be sure, 24 hours from now. So they decided to switch it up a little bit and let Jose be a much bigger storm and a week and a couple days in advance from 9/11. So we got to remember that at the same time right now we're having mass earthquakes in diverse locations. We are having water phenomenon, water receding in Brazil, and now around Long Island, down there by Cuba and Dominican Republic, which is very, very strange. But look at the size of Jose. Look at that storm. Now that does look like a massive 6 on Monday the 18th. Let's look at Tuesday. Tuesday the 19th, and look at that storm. Speeds have picked up and everything from the Monday, and this is at 2 a.m. on Tuesday the 19th. And do you see the sheer size of that storm? That storm, the side of that storm, is almost touching Ohio where that 4 is. Because actually, you know what? It basically is hitting Ohio. And it's not even, the eye isn't even on any land at that point. And it's already almost touching Ohio. So, if anything about this model and this prediction is accurate, the upper northeast coast and northeast states are in very, very big trouble. Because this is absolute insanity. I have never seen anything like this. This is the absolute biggest hurricane. If this happens this way, or anything similar, and the size stays the same, this will be the absolute most devastating, catastrophically sized hurricane I think that has ever been formed on the earth. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is absolute insanity. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go back. Sunday the 10th at 2 a.m. Alright. Now, back to why I said I think we can change paths of storms very easily. I'm not sure what this is. There we go. These are the NEXRAD Doppler stations. Alright. We have them all over. And here's an idea. Some of the locations. And there are like little ranges and whatnot. You see that? Now, let's go to the second one. This is the other part of that. This is the HAARP locations, or the possible HAARP locations around the world. Sites around the world that look very similar to the ionosphere superheaters that we are used to seeing in, up there in Alaska, the HAARP facility. Now, something I do want to say about this image here. I know it's blurry, so I apologize, and I also apologize about my phone being upright and making the letterbox black style bars on the side, but that website with the weather predictions does not look very good when it's horizontal, so that's why I did it this way. But look right there, just under Florida's Panhandle on this image. X marks the spot, right? Now, if these are all HAARP locations, look at all the HAARP locations that could, potentially guide a storm where they want it, or change a storm the way they want it. Like slow it down to 7 miles per hour while it's in super warm water to make it strengthen as much as possible while it's there. You see what I'm saying? So, very, very possible. This is what a HAARP facility looks like. A bunch of antennas that super concentrate beams of microwave energy directly into our ionosphere, which causes it to ripple and vibrate and then push it outwards or pull it inwards, and they can disrupt communications and make weather be manipulated. Now, with a combination of things like HAARP and stratospheric aerosol injections, or geoengineering, or chemtrails, more commonly known, they basically have a lot more control over the weather than what most common folk think. And I think that, with these hurricanes and the way everything's working out, it becomes very, very obvious. Just the way it's working out. So, yeah, I think it's time for the world to, look at what's going on here. This is another HAARP location. Don't take dude's word for it, as you can see here. But as you can see, it looks very sacred geometry looking. Very like sacred geometry, you know what I mean? The hexagram, and then the hexagon around it, and then all the bars sticking out. Yeah, that's very much sacred geometry. And of course, six-sided at that, just like the so-called big hexagon on top of Saturn, spinning ever so fast. Here you go. Very much sacred geometry. Alright, I'm getting a little off topic with that, so I'm going to go ahead and go back. But these are HAARP facilities, you see, and it's a bunch of antennas, but it concentrates like millions of wattage, or millions of watts of microwave frequencies into one small concentrated spot into the ionosphere, and would cause that ripple effect, and then the lower levels of the atmosphere take up, or like go and fill that spot in, and it causes numerous problems. It causes severe weather manipulation, severe drought, severe rain, severe thunderstorms, earthquakes, and hurricanes, as you know. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and keep showing some of these facilities around the world, because they are in numerous spots around the world. And there's a common view of what the sky tends to look like after HAARP has affected your area. You get those big, long rows that look like rows of crops in a field. And I've said it numerous times, and I've covered these clouds and actually recorded them and myself and put them on my channel. So all you got to do is go back and look through my channel, and I'm sure you will find them. Under my Geoengineering Daily, you will see the frequencies, the ionized clouds, or whatever you want to call it. Looks like plasma or ionized clouds causing the separation to make it look like rows of crops. Now, the day the earthquake in Japan happened and Fukushima had its meltdown, the tsunami, that is exactly how the sky looked above Japan. There's actually a really good video online somewhere on YouTube that you can find, and the guy walks through it and discusses it. Now look at this. This is like a floating NEXRAD center, or HAARP facility. They are very capable of manipulating just about everything. Okay, and we need to know and realize this, because that's exactly what's happening. Okay, it's very, very obvious that that is what's happening. Never would I have thought that the weather would be doing things quite like this. Now, why, you ask? Let's get into why they would be manipulating weather to the extent they are right now. They did it in Texas because Operation Black Skies started 2 days after the eclipse. Texas has their own power grid, and they want to simulate a massive scale power grid failure for Operation Black Skies. Now, that's exactly what a black sky event is a massive power grid failure. So why not test it somewhere like Texas that has their very own power grid, their very own gold supply, and a state that wants to break off and basically form their own country. Now, if we remember, the Jade Helm map also considers Utah, Southern California, and Texas as hostile territories to the federal government. So, yeah, Texas would be a very good test spot to a bunch of psychotic psychopaths that care nothing about us. to test their weather manipulation and what they're capable of. I think they did it and was like, oh man, did you see what we caused? We just dumped about 60 inches of rain with the help of NASA's SLS test fire for 500 seconds and Trans-Pecos cloud seeding. We dumped about 60 inches of rain on one given spot in about 5-6 days and kept a hurricane, a massive, massive storm that Mother Nature produces naturally, in one spot and literally controlled the whole thing. I think they realized that, kind of like, you know, they realized they had a superpower or something, or realized that they had a superpower that was much more advanced than what they previously thought, is the way I'm starting to take this. And now it's go time, is how I'm looking at this whole thing, because it totally seems like there is so much chaos going on right now that it would be something of that sort. You know what I'm getting at here? I mean, we have Harvey, we have the massive earthquake in Mexico, and with threats of tsunamis and everything. Hell, the tsunami might have hit, I don't know. They said anywhere 3 to 12 feet. It could have already hit, I'm just not sure. Haven't checked back at it. We have water spouts all day, every day, over the Great Lakes, just north of me. And the earthquakes in diverse locations. Okay, Yellowstone, at this given moment, is very active on the seismometers. Okay, apparently there's so much seismic activity going on at Yellowstone. People are live streaming the seismographs of Yellowstone all day. People are saying not to visit Yellowstone. Now, I do remember a few years back, buffalo running away from Yellowstone. Videos went all over the place. I also remember that Yellowstone, the catwalks over the caldera of the supervolcano, raised by about 12 to 14 inches. Just raised. Now, something clearly is moving around down under there. So, I think they are manipulating everything just about as much as they possibly can right now. And they are now full-blown New World Order go time. That's how I'm feeling. Because it's starting to seem like absolute chaos from this point out. And as we know, the signs in the signs in the heavens have started. The eclipse, whether or not it was real, it was Rahu, or caused by NASA flying their jets up there in the so-called totality path, or whatever, nobody really knows. But one thing we do know, that would be a sign in the heavens. Now, a lot of people are referring to that September 23rd thing. I'm a believer that nobody would know when the times are coming to an end and when the last days would be here. I mean, you would have your best guess and you'd be able to, kind of discern whether or not it's happening. But, I don't think that anybody can accurately pinpoint this type of thing. But, also it's the September 23rd thing would be the start of all of it, I do believe. So, who knows? Also this month, NASA claimed on their website and then took it down that we're supposed to have a blackout. Now, I don't know if you guys know how I feel about the whole space and NASA thing, but I do not believe a thing they say. But one thing is for certain, I go off what we can see with our eyes and what, we can experience with our senses because of the way I feel about mainstream science. Now, something that people are picking up with their very own eyes are big sunspots, big black sunspots. Now, I do believe there is somewhere in the Bible that says in the last days the moon will turn as red as blood and the sun will turn dark. Now, NASA is threatening that this month, for 15 days, the sun will go dark. Like I said, the story was up. This has happened a few times now. They've said it for the past couple years. But then it always got taken down or never happened. But this year it went up again, and it's already been taken back down. And I had a friend see it on the NASA website, and I saw another article about it too. But both of the articles were taken down. So whether or not that's going to happen, I'm not sure. But it's very ironic that that would have been said to have been happening this month, whether or not it's taken down or going to happen. But all during Operation Black Skies. That would be an Operation Black Sky at its finest, right? The sun going dark, that would be a black sky. You know, the NASA version is, oh, well, Jupiter and Venus will be in such close proximity that Jupiter will release a whole bunch of hydrogen, and that hydrogen will make its way to the sun, causing an explosion on the surface of the sun. And when that explosion happens, it'll make the sun's surface so much hotter it'll actually turn blue. So it won't be black, but it will be very, very dark compared to what we're used to. Okay, don't believe that whatsoever, but whatever. Point is, they claim it's supposed to go dark, and if that happens, that's a sign in the heavens. And that means New World Order time is a go. That's exactly what that means. As you can see up in the top right hand corner, my phone is dying. I tried to spit this out as quickly as possible. I want to touch up on two more things. Like I said, if you live in these southern states and you get footage that you feel needs to be seen by the world, send it to my email. Link will be in the description. Send it to me with your name and what you would like me to say or anything, and I will definitely put it up on the channel for you. I would also like to say that today I hit 60 subscribers. So we as a channel are growing, and I'm very, very grateful for that. So thank you to all of my 60 subscribers. I know it's not much, and I know a lot of channels would laugh about it. I don't care. I'm a grateful person. So thank you to each and every one of you 60 subscribers that I have. Very, very grateful, and we will continue to grow, and we will continue to make videos. So thank you guys. Anybody in Florida, be safe. Anybody down there in the southern states, be safe. People will be praying. I will be praying. Crossing fingers for you guys. Be safe and stay aware. It's here. And the New World Order is a go. Keep me posted on the FEMA. Keep me posted on Red Cross. Anything down there. Alright, y'all. Thanks again for subscribing. Hit that bell if you haven't already. Peace.